Hey, with the release of Forza Horizon 5, I thought I'd do my normal check to see if it works with the DriveHub. So here we've got the little DriveHub, and just a recap on how you connect it. So the thing on the left is the power and signal to your console. Controller just goes straight to the controller. Sometimes it doesn't depending on your consoles, but it's just good to check that. Wheel and controller, that goes directly to your force feedback wheel. In my case it's the T300. And accessories, it connects my handbrake and my Fanatec shifter and my Fanatec pedals. So now we're just gonna jump in and show you how it does in fact work very well with Horizon 5. So I'll do my usual check of my handbrake. Handbrake doesn't work at all, so just forget that. I've done various tests. I've tried plugging it in via USB or directly to my T300, and that doesn't work. The DriveHub pretends to be a different wheel depending on what wheel you have, so other people with different brands might have it working, but it's not working for me. So the shifter works well, so first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and then push down to the right for seventh. That works fine. Now for pedal test, so accelerate, working fine. Do in first gear, accelerate, then hard brake, that works fine. Now clutch and accelerate, so I'm in first, the clutch down. You can see I'm not moving anywhere, works fine. Next is the wheel. So the force feedback works perfectly fine. I'd say out of the box it doesn't. You need to configure some things in the Forza settings to make sure it works okay. I'll run you through them shortly. I would recommend not using this view and using this view, and I'll tell you why soon. But I'll jump through to my settings and just show you what I've done. What worked really well for me. So if I jump into settings and go into advanced controls, you need to turn vibration off. That's the first biggest thing you need to do, because the wheel tries to mimic the vibration of the controller, I think, and it just doesn't work very well at all. All of this, I'm pretty sure it's just all default. Now vibration scale, set that to 0. Even though it's off, I set it to 0. Force feedback scale. Now, this is a personal preference, but I like my wheel to feel quite heavy and a lot of feedback in it, so I scale that right up. So this kind of scales everything except for scale, damper, and centering. Everything else I pretty much max out. So center spring scale for 2, wheel damper scale 2, force feedback minimum force 1.5. And that gives me a really nice off-road feel and road feel with these two scales. So 1.2 for road and 1 for off-road. Now, you definitely get a lot of feedback. It still feels a little a tiny bit light in the center, just as you're about to turn the corner or something, but I don't think there's too much I can do about that. But you get used to it, and it feels really good. So with the force feedback scale, this is actually a really valuable setting if you want to show your friends or something. I generally turn it down to like 0.8, and most of the other settings scales that down, and then they actually have a nice lighter feel that you can, without tearing the arms off. So yeah, I'll try tuning that down if you're showing anyone else, but generally I stay with 1.5. But it's, again, the vibration setting is probably the number one thing you definitely need to turn off. Other than that, it's all good at these settings. Another thing which I highly recommend is actually driving around from an in-car view and turning off all the HUD. Even if it's just for a short bit, but you get to really appreciate the game itself, because there's no notifications, no driver names above everyone, and it's actually just a really nice clean view where you can see. Actually, it's quite nice just to randomly meet someone who pulls in front of you online and that drifts in front of you. I mean, generally you kind of, with the name tags on, you can get a sense of where everyone is kilometers away, whereas if you turn the name tags off specifically, then it's actually a nice little surprise, and they merge in quite well with the AI traffic. So just give that a try. It's got nothing to do with DriveHub, it's just kind of personal preference. But so yeah, let's so all the buttons seem to work properly. So got things like the horn and pause menu, and yeah, all these buttons. So this is normally that the select button, this is the pause button, this is the Xbox guide button. So if you want it, you push that. So one thing that I found out that in the map push is useful. If I go into the map, my pedals, if I do brake and accelerate, zoom the map. So if I accelerate and brake, then that zooms in and out of the map. It took me a while to figure that out, but it's super handy. So these are obviously X, Y, B, and A on the Xbox. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the time being. The reason why I recommend not this view is because the wheel doesn't actually map to, it maps it, but maps to the wheel rotation, except it doesn't, it stops before you reach the limit. So if you're driving this view, you might think, oh, I've reached the limit now because the animation isn't turning. But actually you can turn the wheel much further, and it's actually really jarring to kind of see that your wheel and the in-game animation isn't into sync. And this is, I think it's just a limitation of the animation system in Forza, because the car is still turning. Like if I meet the limit here, if I go to the outside view, it's hard to see, but the wheels themselves are still turning even though the in-game steering wheel has stopped. So that's why I'd kind of not recommend this view, because it's not great with a steering wheel. I recommend this, or even the bonnet cam if you can handle that. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, it works really well. I've played many hours of this so far, and it's such good fun. My son's been playing it too, because we've got an old Xbox One S, and we're sharing the Game Pass subscription so we can play together, which is such an awesome feature. Anyway, let me know if you have any questions, and I'm happy to answer them in the comments.